Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David and this is a Magic Review. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Wow, I wasn't gonna review this today. I had something else planned. I kind of make a schedule, just to give you a little behind the scenes. I make a schedule of what to do when, try to mix it up, you know, between either tricks or things that look too similar, or maybe even like the manufacturers or the producers, right? Try to mix it up so that you get a variety each week. And so I had something else scheduled, but then I watched this and busted this out, and I was so impressed with this. I wanted to tell you about this as soon as I possibly could. This is Unhanded from J.P. Vallarino. This is being put out by Murphy's Magic. This is incredible. It is so incredible. And here's the thing. And this is why I want to talk about it, okay? Because there's been a lot of hype around some certain tricks that have come out these past couple weeks, maybe past month or so. I've been a few tricks that have had a lot of hype, right? Like really crazy trailers, lots of testimonials, and people have thrown out phrases like best trick of the year, or I don't know, best trick of the century, you know, whatever, right? Like you have to have these. And I get it, you know, like we all have to kind of hype our products and we want our products to sell, absolutely. And that's kind of why I do this, you know, well, that's why I do reviews, is because I want you to like just see the black and white, right? Just strip away the commercial and just tell you this is what you get, this is how much it costs, this is what the restrictions are, this is what's good about it, this is what's not good about it. Like I try to give you just the 411, right? But with this, I was like, wow, there's no hype around this. Like this, when I got this in the box, I didn't know what it was. I had never seen it before. I hadn't heard anything about it, and I don't hear anybody else talking about it now. Now I've seen some other reviewers talk about it, and I can tell you, go watch some other reviews. They've given it 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So when I saw it, I was like kind of skeptical. I was like, 10 out of 10. I bet I could find something wrong with this. You know, if someone were gonna say trick of the year or trick of the century or, you know, whatever, it would have to meet a lot of criteria for me. It really would. I mean, for one, it would have to be affordable. Like, it'd have to be a good price. This trick right now, Unhanded, is $35. 35 bucks. I've seen gaff decks for $40, $45. This is $35. $35, and you get 2 hours and 13 minutes of tutorial. You get over 7 tricks. Let me just add 7 different tricks. 7 different card tricks. Another criteria for me for trick of the century would have to be something that did more than one thing. Like it can't just be a one-hit wonder. This, Unhanded, is a utility. It is a utility, and you can use it for card tricks, and no 2 card tricks will look the same. It's not going to be like this, the same trick, but done in a different way. Like some of these other tricks that are just like, you know, best trick of the year, you can only do it once, right? You're not going to do it twice because it's going to look exactly the same. Unhanded, you could probably do 2 or even 3 of these card tricks back to back in the same set, and your spectator wouldn't know that you were doing it the exact same way. What else? Trick of the century for me would have to be something accessible for everybody, right? It can't just be for the higher echelon card workers, like just them. Only if you're massively skilled could you do it. Trick of the century would have to be something that all magicians could do. That's just my criteria. Unhanded, some of these tricks are completely sleight free. Sleight free. But if you had a working knowledge of card tricks, you could make it even better. Lastly, you know that old saying that gets thrown around sometimes in marketing? They say, and this is only limited by your imagination. And sometimes you look at the trick and you go, I have no imagination for this whatsoever, so I'm in trouble. With this, I would say it's really true. I think even though you're getting over 7 tricks on this, I think 8, you're going to come up with stuff on your own. And it's going to be just as good or better than what you're taught. There is potential for this beyond just the voices that speak in this video. I think any other magician that was given this tool, they would come up with something just as good. And here's the thing. I am now 5 minutes into this video, and I haven't even told you what Unhanded does. That's how excited I am. That's how excited I am about this product. So let's say you pay your $35 to your favorite Murphy's Magic dealer. What are you going to get? You're going to get the Unhanded box, magnetic enclosure. Inside that, you're getting a nondescript, non-attention-grabbing, plain, ordinary United States Playing Card Company bicycle red tuck case. Classic tuck case with a full back. Perfectly examinable by anyone. And yet, it's a gimmicked tuck case. You're also going to get a single joker that looks exactly like a joker should from the front and the back. It's made out of a real joker. And yet, it's a gimmick. It's going to take up no space. You're going to add those 2 things to your regular, average, everyday deck, and you'll be able to do miracles. And by just eliminating the joker, you now have a clean deck that you can go into any card trick with. So now, with Unhanded, you can do gimmicked tricks and regular card tricks without carrying 2 different decks. See what I mean? Is it well made? It is well made. It's amazingly well made because it's just bicycle, right? It's just bicycle stuff. And really, for the price, $35, I mean, it'll take a long time, probably, for your tuck case to wear out. Because sometimes we'll carry a tuck case even if it's got a little bit of a ding and a bruise. But you know what? If there comes a point one day when you decide to replace it for $35, that's a no-brainer. All right, so what's the overall quality and production value of the video? You got Javier Fuemir from Murphy's Magic. He's going to walk you through everything. It's filmed and shot like every other Murphy's Magic tutorial. I'm sure you've been there. You've seen those. You're going to get an intro. He'll talk about what you get. And then he'll quickly run through how it works, how the system works. Okay, so right away, before you've seen any trick, you're going to get it. You're going to say like, I get it. Now, I can't tell you what it is because that's exposure. Okay. But he also talks about customizing your gimmick. We'll talk a little bit more about that. You're going to get 2 live performances for 2 of the tricks, and the rest of them are studio performances, and then there's studio explanations for each one. And let's go through them. Let's go through them, and I'll explain exactly how this goes. And I'm going to start with the very first trick. Very first trick is a good indicator of how the rest of the tricks go. But let me just tell you what's possible with Unhanded. And the first trick explains it the best, okay? So just picture this with me, all right? You have a deck of cards. You slide all the cards out, the magician. You take this deck and you hand it to your spectator. And now it is no longer in your hands. And let me just say, you have no cards in your hands or on your person or in the tuck box. You have given everything to them. That person can either select a card themselves or become the magician and fan the cards to another person. All the while you can turn your back. You don't have to watch. Another person selects a card, no force, obviously. They can sign it. That card can then be lost in the deck and handed back to you. Or, instead of being handed back to you, you can hand them the tuck case and say, you know what, I don't want to do anything. Put it all back in the tuck case. And they put it back in the tuck case. And they hand you the tuck case. Okay? You could then give the deck to another person and say, now I want you to go through the cards. And could you now just tell this person what your card was? They say, oh, I sign the 4 of clubs. You say, can you look through that deck and find the 4 of clubs? And they'll say, no, it's gone. And you say, that's because it's in my pocket. Just like that. Just like that. And it's easy to do and doesn't require any sleight of hand at all. And that's just one of the tricks that you can do with this. What's the second trick? The second trick is you have a card selected, okay? Could be signed, it doesn't have to be. And you could have all the cards dumped out into a paper bag, okay? You give the paper bag to the spectator and they shuffle the cards up by shaking the bag. You then have them open the bag and you drop the tuck case in and you say, I'm gonna have your card leap into the tuck case. They shake some more, they open the bag, and when they do, they see that their card is now inside the tuck case. The third trick is a 2-deck do as I do behind the back. So just like you've seen with other tricks, you have one deck down on the table that's a prediction, where you have one card reversed in the deck, but you don't show them what it is. They take their deck, put it behind their back, they select the card, turn it over, put it backwards into the deck, bring it out, fan it across the table. One card is seen to be upside down. You then take your deck, fan it across the table, one card is upside down. You remove it, both cards match. The fourth trick is a Joker finds your card effect, where, just like it sounds, a card is selected and lost, you insert the Joker into the deck, and the Joker finds their card. The fifth card trick is a sandwich effect, like you've seen others, where a card is selected and lost, you bring out the 2 Jokers, and then their card mysteriously appears between the 2 Jokers. The sixth card is a card at any number that you do from the pocket. So a card is selected and lost, you dump all the cards into your pocket, you then have them name a number, so let's say 7, and then you begin to draw cards out of your pocket one at a time, and then the 7th card is their card. The 7th trick is a card to box, which is just like it sounds. A card is selected and lost, and it appears in the tuck box that's been sitting on the table the entire time. The 8th trick is a traveler's effect, where let's say you count 10 cards to the table, and those cards get put in the box. You then count 10 cards again, and then mysteriously you wave your hands over it, and now the cards on the table, there's 12 cards, and in the box, 2 cards have mysteriously jumped out. After that, there's some trick ideas that Lloyd Barnes suggested. Also, after that, there's a section on how to force 2 cards. And let me just say, I'm going to tell you this trick again. And before I even start, I'm going to say this, okay? It's sleight free. Sleight free. You have a deck of cards. You can shuffle it up. You slide it in the tuck case. You can't touch them. You take the Joker and you hand it to them. And you say, just riffle up the side of the deck, and I want you to throw the Joker into the deck. They do that. You say, okay, I can't control this at all, right? There's been an envelope on the table the entire time. You pull the cards out, fan them across the table. There's the Joker trapped between 2 other cards. You slide those 2 cards out, you open the envelope, and you have those 2 cards in the envelope, and there's no other Joker in the deck. You can do that trick with absolutely 0 sleight of hand. 0 with Unhanded. After that, there's a tutorial section where Javier Fuemir walks you through false cuts, false shuffles. He talks to you about how you could have a card selected in different ways, right? Instead of just the fanning, pick a card, any card, he walks you through some other creative ways you could have people select a card. He talks about how to use the gimmick as a peek. So card is selected, lost, and then once it's lost, you can then tip the gimmick in a certain way and you can peek their card and you'll know what card they picked. And then there's a whole bunch of idea section at the end. Let's run through all the questions, right? Let's run through all these questions. So pocket space takes up no space at all. Because it's a tuck case and a Joker, you have those things in your deck now. So you just add those 2 things to your regular deck and you'll be able to do any of the tricks that I just said as your stunner opener, right? Which makes you feel like you're working with a gimmick deck, and you are. But the moment you take the gimmick and put it away in your pocket, you can go into any standard card trick and you don't need to switch decks, right? You've just gone from a trick deck trick to a regular deck trick. And here's the beauty of it. The gimmick is so versatile that you could literally bring the gimmick back halfway through your set and you could close with one of these tricks as well. How are the angles? There's nothing to find. There's nothing to find. Because there's nothing else. There's only a tuck case and a single joker as your gimmick. That's it. There's nothing else to find. Nothing. Nothing. So it's inspectable. The spectator is going to handle the deck. They're going to handle the cards. You know, like some other trailers, they say, oh, and the spectator can even handle the deck, and they'll never know it's gimmicked. Like, with this, they literally would never know it was gimmicked. I would argue that some magicians wouldn't even know it was gimmicked. Okay? Because when I first got this out of the box, I was like, a joker in a tuck box. This is it? This is going to be... I can't wait to see what this is. Because literally, without being told what it was, I didn't know what to look for. There's no hanging chads. There's no thread, right? There's nothing, there's no sliding this or sliding that. It is exactly what it looks like. It's so well hidden. Sleights and difficulty level, virtually sleight free. All the things that Javier teaches you are virtually sleight free. There's a couple of moves in there. He gives you a little bit of intermediate handling, but let me just say, the more card knowledge you have, the more devastating this will be in your hands. Serious. If you're good with cards, you're going to come up with stuff for this that the rest of us haven't even thought of. I bet you. Positives. What are the positives? I can't say enough great things about Unhanded. I can't. It is incredible. It is amazing. I'm speechless. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. Negatives. All right, so what are the negatives? I think at first I was going to say there was no negatives to this, but I don't like saying that. So here's what I will say, okay? I listed off 7, 8 tricks that you could do with this, okay? They're all possible, but they're not all possible within the same set. All right? So I don't want you to think like, oh, I would do this and this. It might not be possible because some of those tricks require a setup, and we'll just call it setup A, all right? And some of those tricks require a different setup, and we'll call that setup B. You can't move between setup A and setup B without going off somewhere behind the scenes, okay? You would have to change something that you can't change live in front of the spectator. And that requires a little bit of setup before you begin, okay? Is it worth your money? $35? I already covered that. Covered it. $35. Yes. Heck yeah. Fully gimmicked item utility that you can add to any deck that does all those tricks, and you get 2 hours of tutorial. No brainer, right? No brainer. Don't just take my word for it. Don't. If there's other voices out there, if there's other reviewers, I know there's blog reviewers out there, Facebook reviewers. Read what they had to say about Unhanded. Don't just listen to me. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke, right? Maybe I'm just prejudiced. Maybe I'm just biased. So don't listen to me. Go check out what somebody else has to say and see what they say, and then make up your mind. But I'm saying, here's what I'm saying, okay? Got it? All right. Yeah, hope I helped you out. Hope I answered some questions. Hope I gave you some food for thought. If that's true, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow, hit all the buttons. That would really help me out. I'm trying to hit my goal of 50,000 subs this year. You guys could help. And yeah, huge big thanks to Murphy's Magic Supplies for allowing me to have this so that I could do the review for you. And if you want to buy it for yourself, you can find it from your very favorite Murphy's Magic dealer. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.